Hi guys, the induction day is here. We have the tiniest bump in the world, but not to worry. Hi guys, and welcome to what's hopefully going to be a part series of motherhood, the struggles, tips and tricks, and you know, all that interesting stuff, because there's a lot of information out there and you have to like reach out to get the information. And even when you get that information and you have that baby, you feel so confused. It's insane. But anyways, I learned a little bit from my experience, and I figured a lot of people might not know this stuff, so let me reach out and help other people who might be going through similar situations. But I thought about it, like, how am I going to do this? And I figured the first thing that I was going to do was to tell everyone about my labor and delivery story. So here it goes. Where do I start? So my labor was my pregnancy journey was pretty easy. The first trimester I had nausea, a little bit of vomiting. What else really happened? There was nothing really significant. A little bit of vomiting, you know, the regular tiredness and stuff like that. Then came second trimester. I was strong. Like, I felt like I could conquer the world. So that was great. Then third trimester, all my tests checked out. They were okay. I went from wanting a water birth to saying, hey, Cynthia, can you do this thing? And then I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm going to go to the hospital. So we got a doctor, did the test, did the ultrasound. Everything was okay. You're having a girl. My tummy, it was like really tight. They said that she was occupying a lot of space in my tummy. So the major pain, ooh, why did I forget this? The major struggle that I had throughout my pregnancy was back pain. It hurt. And it still does. That's the sad thing. No one tells you that part. It really hurt. Like, I would cry most nights. I used the pregnancy pillow. We got heating pads for my back. My husband was so supportive. Thank God we got heating pads, but it never really went away. And then they're like, oh, when you have a baby, everything will go away. You'll be fine. So great. So then came 40 weeks. Many people think we carry babies for 9 months. That's a lie. It's actually 10 months. But then I think between 36 to 41 weeks, there's any chance that the baby can come out there. And that's why people are pretty much like, oh, 9 months, the baby's done cooking. But sometimes up until 40 weeks, the baby's still there. 41 weeks for some people, 42 for most. So we got to 40 weeks and the doctor is like, okay, so now's the time for you to schedule your induction. They checked me, I hadn't dilated, and they're like, okay, so now it's time for you to schedule your induction to have this baby. So our hospital required that we come in at 4 a.m. And so, you know, the night before, we didn't sleep. We were so excited. I was nervous, but I'm like, you know, I'm going to do this. Like, I kept having dreams. How is it going to be like? Is it going to be exciting? Is it going to be not? But I just prayed for, you know, everything to be positive. So we go in at 4 a.m. Check in, put your name, they get you a room. It was cool. They're like, oh, so you guys, we're going to insert the cytotech now, and you're going to chill, and she's going to like sleep for a bit while your cervix ripens and stuff like that, to check, put the fetal monitor to monitor my heartbeat and my baby's heartbeat. And everything was going fine. So that went on. I think at some point I wanted to pee, and then I stand up, go to the bathroom, I pee, come back, everything is okay. Chatting with my husband, recording videos. I will insert, you know, some of the videos here. So they put a pill called cytotech to soften the cervix.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, that's the worst pain. What's the pain that you want?
0. I'm so scared. Well, not scared. I was like, I'm so scared, but I'm like, not scared per se. I think it's just nervousness.
Nervous.
Like, I don't know what to expect. Just because I know.
I think that's completely natural.
And so, I think, was it maybe 2 hours after everything started, the fetal monitor went faint. So as usual, you know how, you're lying in bed and they come and try to adjust the monitor and say, oh, maybe her heart, she moved to this side or moved to the other side, so let's adjust the monitor and stuff like that. I was thinking that's what it is, yeah? And so one nurse comes in, tries to adjust it, and she's like, oh, can you move it to this side? Can you switch to your left? Can you switch to your right? And stuff like that. And I do that, and she's like, yeah, okay, all right. And then she presses the intercom and she calls for more nurses to come in, and they just run in. And I'm like, it's fine, it's okay, everything is going to be fine. And they come in and then they have me on all fours. They're shaking my tummy, prodding my tummy. I'm still really, really calm because I'm like, maybe she's sleeping. Maybe the monitor stopped working, right? They do that for a number of minutes and then we start to hear like a really faint heartbeat. And everyone is smiling like, hi, hi. Because, they're trying not to make you really scared. But at that point, I'm like, okay, so we hear the heartbeat and I'm like, all right, great, everything is fine. And then what seemed like 5 minutes later, I think it was another nurse or a doctor, I can't really remember, I came in and she's like, oh, hi guys, so we're about to schedule you for a C-section. Where's my doctor? At that point, my doctor had told me that everything was going to be okay. I was going to have a baby. She was big, but she was doing great. I promise you we're going to do all we can so that you don't have a C-section. And some other doctor is coming to tell me that we're going to have a C-section. How? Like, how? I cried, like, honestly, jokes apart, it was the scariest thing because, when you have so many dreams, like you see yourself pushing out that baby, going through labor, wondering what it feels like, and then someone is coming to tell you that everything that I had dreamed. But the thing is, actually, when you watch videos, I saw many people saying, oh, I thought it was going to be a natural delivery, ended up being a C-section. So I kind of braced myself for everything like you get. I mean, we really want to like pop out that baby ourselves. It's really not easy. But anyway, C-section. So my mom was in Nigeria. I called my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, and he's like, he's a pastor, so he prayed. He's like, everything's going to be fine, just do it. So basically what they said here was that they don't know what happened. Her heartbeat stopped for 8 minutes. They tried to do everything that they could in there, but it's too late to do an ultrasound to tell what was going on. So to be safe, I should just have a C-section and have the baby. They also advised that, oh yeah, maybe you could go home and chill, but we're never going to induce you again and wait for maybe 41, 42 weeks to see if the baby comes out on her own, but we're not going to induce you again. And I'm like, how can you leave me with that option? Like, something might be wrong with your baby. We don't know what's wrong with your baby, but hey, you can go home and then wait for your baby, but that you don't know that if something is wrong with to come out. Really? So of course we chose a C-section, and they're like, okay, so we're going to start you on epidural. And the doctor came, the anesthesiologist came, did the epidural. That was pretty okay, and they said they were going to wheel me to the theater and then prep me for the surgery, and then my husband was going to join us later and all. So we go into this room, there's lights. It was so cold, and I'm like, I'm cold, I'm so cold. They're like, oh no, it's okay, it's okay. So they bring blankets, like your arms are stretched out, they bring blankets and cover you, and then they start to give you doses of what's called a spinal. So an epidural is pretty much for like if you're having like a C-section or labor and stuff like that, and when it goes you know, to be like a, so not if you're having a C-section, if you're having like a normal labor, when it goes on to be like a C-section, what they give you passes through your spinal, so it's called a spinal. So they start to do that, and then, you know, pretty doctors and nurses in the room, they're all chit-chatting with me. But at this point, I was so scared. Like, for the life of me, I couldn't keep calm. I don't know, because I was like, I never imagined, okay, this happening to me. Yes, I knew it could be an option, but I never imagined it happening to me. And all of a sudden, it was like I couldn't control, you know, when you want to control, you know, how you push, control the pain you feel, you've done all the breathing techniques, and now you're like, it's now left to the doctors and God. So, you know, they were trying to calm me down and like, oh, it's okay. And then they said they were going to clean me up, and then they start to like poke, and I should tell them if I feel pain, like my tummy area. For every time that they poked, I felt pain. I was like, I feel it. Oh my, I was so scared. Like, thinking about it still brings some kind of tears to my eyes. I was like, I feel the pain. Oh my God, I feel the pain. Because I thought that I was going to, you know those stories when, what's the name of that movie? Was it Joe something? That the guy was under and he could feel the pain and everything, but he couldn't communicate. I thought that that would be my story. So I could feel the pain. I was telling them that I could feel the pain, but I thought that maybe they're not hearing me enough and stuff like that. So I told them, oh, I feel the pain, I feel the pain. And then they kept passing like more morphine or whatever they were passing through my spinal. And the next 2 or 3 times they tried it, I could still feel the pain. And basically I was trying to talk to the nurse behind me, and I was like, oh, how does it feel? And she's like, okay, no, so you don't feel the pain. No, she's like, you feel the prodding, but you don't feel the pain. I'm like, great, but what I feel is pain though. So it got to some point, she just looked at me and she was like, we're gonna take good care of you. And that was it. That was it. What felt like an eternity after, I came around. Obviously, they put me under general anesthesia. And that feeling, I can't explain. Like, I can explain, but I don't know if anybody understands it. It was like descending through tunnels with a lot of light, and then you hear voices, but they're not really distant. You know what I say, like the light at the end of the tunnel? It's like you're going through that tunnel towards the light, but you're hearing voices, but they can only become clearer when you hit the end of the tunnel. I saw white lights, I saw like pink horses and stuff like that. Those are the few things I can remember. I heard voices, but it was that experience. I wouldn't know what to call it till date. According to them, it was 15 minutes, but for me it felt like a lifetime. And then I came round, and then in my head I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead. Like, what happened? Like, did I have a baby? No, I didn't see anyone bring out any baby for me. My husband didn't come into the room. I don't know what happened. Maybe I'm dead. And then they're talking about what to do with me. Then I heard them say, oh, she had a beautiful baby girl. And I'm like, are they talking to me or somebody else? Am I dreaming or am I dead? And then I heard my voice say something like, oh, what's going on or something. And I'm like, oh my God, I can hear myself. Can they hear me? So I heard them respond to me like, am I talking? Because I felt like I was talking inside me, but not really outside. It was crazy, yo. But long story short, what happened, my heart rate was rising, and my baby's heart rate was rising as well. Her heart rate was decelerating but not accelerating, and it's meant to do both. So when they figured out that it wasn't doing both, they scheduled the C-section. But when we got in, and I think my heart rate rose, because they actually told me that blood pressure was a lot high during my pregnancy. Not really high, like just, you know, you need to rest and relax and stuff like that. So I guess maybe that's what happened again. So my heart rate rose, blood pressure rose, and her blood pressure was rising as well. So they decided to just put me on there so that I wouldn't freak out and everything. And before my husband could even come into the room, they told him to go to the nursery and meet his baby. I came round, it was I was delirious because, you know, the bond that a mother is supposed to have with their child. Like, you know, you see your child for the first time, you know, those moments where you're like, oh my God, my baby. I never had any of that. Like, to some extent, I didn't believe that it was real, because where did I bring out this baby? Last I checked, I was in the room, and then I'm out and you're telling me that the baby came out from where? Like, I touched my tummy, I'm like, it's gone down. So it was tough, you know, to come to terms with the fact that I had that kind of procedure and to bond with my baby, because I felt like, what if it's another baby that you guys just, what if you guys didn't switch? What if you guys did a switch? What if it wasn't my baby? What if it was a boy? Like, I had so many questions, and that initial bond was very difficult for me. Like, I didn't have it at first, you know, but eventually it came. But there's this thing where, you know, as a mom, you're not expected to, you know, show any signs of disconnection. You're not expected to show any signs of being unhappy about the situation. Everyone says pregnancy is a good thing, and it is. It's an amazing feeling, you know, being able to carry your own baby. Motherhood is great. Whatever way you become a mom, it's being a mom to a child, being responsible for taking care of another child and having that child love you right back is a great feeling. But you don't choose the way you respond to those feelings. Do you understand? Like, you don't choose what happens. She's crying. You don't choose what happens. So anyway, she came in weighing 6 pounds 12 ounces at 8:49 a.m.
Open your eyes. She says, look how beautiful. I'm hungry. Can I eat? Are you okay breastfeeding her if I help you? Okay. Did Dr. Adigan tell you your baby had a quarter around the neck?
21 inches tall, and she was amazing. So next time I'm going to talk about, ooh, she's crying. Next time I'm going to talk about, like, you know, how motherhood was, and, you know, some things that I didn't know were going to happen, and the way I tackled it all, and, you know, the help I got from everyone around, and postpartum depression. Thank you guys.
You had your baby. That's what happened.
Ouch.
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
It happened in minutes.
Aisha has had her baby.
Which was a good thing.
Minutes
Minutes.
before I came out.
Minutes you left, probably said between, I guess, 15 minutes and you had the baby.
But were you inside?
I didn't have time to go inside.
No, they won't allow that.
Because they checked and they saw that the cord was around the
Around her
baby's
neck.
Around.
And it's a
She's
good
Cindy's neck.
thing you went.
So they decided that me being there wasn't important. What was important was to get her out.